Hello everyone and welcome to FlossTube number 3. I am Georgie, aka Crafty Road Gamer, and welcome to my channel. Two precursors. Firstly, I have absolute steaming cold and flu, possibly, courtesy of JC, so apologies for the bunged up voice and potential glow. Yeah, we nearly did this from the sofa. This was nearly like me under the sofa duvet. Yeah, not feeling great, but anyway, we're here. And yeah, the other precursor is I'm not actually going to do maths. So the title of this FlossTube is FOMO and the maths of pattern buying, but basically you're going to see how I maths it out in my head to make me justify buying a lot of patterns. So yeah, welcome. So I apologise if this FlossTube is a bit more choppy than usual. I'm having to pause lots to take drinks and blow nose and yeah, just basically shrink down in my chair and curl up a bit. So yeah, I do normally I don't normally do like a full like long run of a FlossTube anyway. Normally I can say that. I've done 3 videos now, I've done 2 previously. But yeah, if this is a bit more choppy, I do apologise. So yeah, what I normally do is look at the aftermath of the previous video, and then anything that needs me to catch up on stitching the last few weeks, and then we'll go and look at whips, works in progress, and different projects, new projects, any finishers, and then stitching purchases and life. So that's the sort of the format of my videos. Since the FlossTube number 2, I have picked up lots more subscribers, so if you've subscribed, thank you. If you've watched one of my previous videos, thank you, and welcome back, as I've said previously. I mentioned in the last FlossTube that I didn't really know what to expect, or I knew I'd have 1 subscriber because I would make my husband JC sort of pity subscribe me. But yeah, it's very exciting and humbling and amazing to think that anyone's actually sort of following along with this kind of journey. If you're brand new, if this is your first foray into the madness that is my world and my house and my FlossTube and stitching, then welcome. Just so you know what to expect, I will have animals interrupting and or snoring at some point probably. I've got fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, so that means I can start to flag a bit or I can struggle for words. Whatever this steaming horrible thing is that I've got at the minute isn't helping with that. Also, JC, my husband, is keeping B, my stepdaughter, occupied, so if you can hear cackling in the background, that's possibly them burning each other's houses down on Minecraft, which they had great fun with last time. So yeah, FlossTube 2 was a bit of a long one, so I'm hoping to keep this one around 40 minutes or so. That's sort of my target, half an hour to 40 minutes, so let's see how we get on. So since the last FlossTube, turns out everyone loves a bit of panic stitching. I thought it was just me being a bit of a FlossTube noob and leaving it a bit too late and being a bit too nonchalant about actually getting some stitching done. But yeah, it's a thing. I feel very validated and part of a collective. So yeah, panic stitching's good. Well, productive. Panic stitching is productive. I try not to do that this time, between FlossTube number 2 and FlossTube number 3, this one. However, I think I maybe got a bit smug that I thought about stitching straight away and pretty much picked up a piece. I can't remember if it was the same, no, it won't be the same night because we've published this quite late. So yeah, the day after I literally picked up the piece I wanted to work on, and yeah, so I think I got a bit smug, which possibly made me not stitch as quickly because I was quite chilled with it, and yeah, so I don't know. I think panic stitching works for me. I don't think being not under pressure is productive at all. What else from last couple of weeks? The random things in your head while stitching. So I already knew that when I was counting and stitching, I did the song from Sesame Street, so not the count, like the 1, 2, 3, terrible count impression. So yeah, not that, but there used to be on Sesame Street a sort of a pinball song, and it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, do 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 do. That is in my head when I count stitches all the time. This time, I also found out there's Linkin Park lyrics which basically from the top to the bottom to the top. So that's how I stitch and remember which way I'm going. And the other thing that popped up into my head, which is a bit of a teaser, was caught up. I'm all caught up, which is a bit of a preview as to what's coming up with my whips. So yeah, does anyone else get random things pop into their head while they're stitching? Because I'd like to know I'm not the only one, please. That would be fantastic. Other things, JC mentioned that he'd seen a wooden box to store threads in. I was like, all right then, what have you seen? It's like, it's got it's the threads that you use, the DMC. And so at this point, when he said DMC and wooden box, I put 2 and 2 together and realised he'd seen the DMC wooden box with all the threads. So I was trying to be like cool about it and like, oh yeah, it's quite a bit expensive though, isn't it? And yeah, it looks really nice. I really like one, but it's really expensive. And anyway, as it turns out, if we get office number 2 sorted, that's now my reward. The office number 2 is basically the last bastion of house moving in, and it is no small feat to say that we are going to tackle it and get it sorted out. However, we did start doing it and then abandoned it, and it's basically a box room now. But if we get the second office / games room overflow sorted, I get one of the DMC boxes. I am very excited about that. The wooden drawers. I'll get him to put a picture up of it. But yeah, I like old stuff, and I like old looking stuff. Like I studied like classics and archaeology and like history and art history and that kind of thing. So yeah, I love my games and all my modern things, but yeah, old stuff and old looking stuff is totally my vibe. And yeah, that excites me. Yeah, we're a techie geeky household full of IKEA furniture, but I really want that DMC old looking wooden storage box with all the threads in it. And he also said, but if you get it, then you can't, like the threads in it, you're going to need to replace them. I'm like, I'm not going to use them, mate. Why would I use the threads out of the storage box? That's pristine. That's how they stay. You can't do that. So yeah, exciting for me anyway. Speaking of Office 2, so the plan is eventually, when we get it sorted, to set up a desk in there. And would anyone be interested in seeing me battle with a sewing machine? I've used one previously, but I've got lots of like housey kind of stuff that needs sorting out. So like I want to make some random things like cloth napkins, and I've started using a Q-snap. So grime guards maybe. I can't really find any, sorry, cat sneezing. I can't really find any grime guards that I like, so maybe I found a tutorial and it involves a sewing machine. So yeah, anyone fancy, not a how-to video, more like a commiserate with me / laugh at me video, or videos regarding sewing machines and other projects, because I need to have a go at doing some stuff like that. What else? So some people have given me shout outs, and it's because, well, they've watched me, but also because I gave them a shout out as well. So I'm not sure of the etiquette of this, because we'll just keep going round in circles if I keep saying thank you and mentioning me, and then you keep thanking me and mentioning you and that kind of thing. But yeah, thank you to anyone who has given me a shout out. The people that I know about are Stitch with Beth, Obsessive Crafty Dabbler, Darcy Cameron I know has, and I think Sammy has, but I'm really behind with my FlossTubes at the minute. Sammy Liz, I'll link everyone, but yeah, I've just not felt like watching anything this last week. So if you've done a FlossTube in this last week, I probably haven't watched it, but thank you very, very much if you've given me a shout out. It's massively appreciated, regardless of whether I know about it or not, because I'm not up to date with my FlossTubes. Right, so what I have managed to watch in sort of like the first week of my 2 week of stitching, we'll have a look at that next. So, FlossTubes that I've been watching. For my sanity and memory, I think what I'm going to do is on my blog, I'm going to pop a page on there about who I've watched and caught up with and is in my sort of rotation now, and then sort of who is like next, because I've had loads of lovely people comment, and you know, ranging from just saying hi to making recommendations about things. So yeah, and I've sort of tried to check if anyone's got a FlossTube or not, and try and make a mental note, and like add you to my subscribe list, but mental notes and trying to remember with my head is not a good thing. So I'm going to, I think, like start a list somewhere. Right, apologies. So yes, last time I was making my way through people's channels, and I was in the process of going through DNA Geekcraft's channel and all of their FlossTubes, and I caught up. I'm up to date, unless you've done a new video in the last week, then I'm not up to date. And yeah, I said that on the, you know, your last video, basically saying I was caught up in everything. I think you said like it must have been a slog or something like that, getting through everything. It was not a slog, it was an absolute pleasure. I love what you are stitching and all of your whips and your commitments to sort of getting everything done and getting sorted, and your plans for Stitch Mania as well. So yeah, not a slog in the slightest. I've thoroughly enjoyed your journey so far. So then I picked up Sammy Liz's channel, Sam, and I've been chatting a bit with Sam as well, which is nice. Just random bits and bobs. And Sam, I am absolutely feeling all of your projects. You know, I'm feeling the Two Towers projects. I love that. I've almost bought it myself a couple of times and sort of managed not to. Trust me, I've bought a lot this week. Well, these last 2 weeks. I love your project books and your project bags, and yeah, you put my storage to shame. Literally, mine's in IKEA food bags. Yeah, I've got one bag. In fact, I've got it here, to be fair. This is my bag that my stitching project's going, and then each one goes inside one of those. And if I've got any threads, without rattling too much, the threads go inside a bag inside a bag. So yeah, not massively creative on the old storing of stitching. However, it works for me. But I am very jealous of all your bags. Peaches. I love Peaches. Peaches and Leo are snoozy, snory soulmates. I love your dog to pieces. So yeah, and I'm caught up with Sam, apart from, again, if something's come out in the last week. So yeah, check out Sammy Liz. She's fantastic. And then who am I on now? Bobo Stitch and Quilt, Jessie. So Jessie started off her channel and was doing, wanted to do a mix of cross stitching and quilting, but now is sort of leaning, I think it's fair to say, more towards cross stitch, but doing separate quilting videos whenever they come in. And yeah, I came to your channel because you mentioned, you left a comment for me on one of my videos, and yeah, I love your videos, your energy that you bring. You're always so, I mean, like, I'm not a massively positive person, and if a smile comes on my face, if you know, basically you need to tell my face what I'm actually thinking, because I don't look like I'm happy half the time. But yeah, the energy and your, you know, sort of your happiness and your exuberance for what you do in your projects is absolutely fantastic. I wish I could muster that up. I love your journal as well. So so Jessie's got a journal and colours in. I hope he's still doing this because I think it's fantastic. Colours in how far they've got with the stitching, like each month, like they've got like a 10 by 10 or 20 by 20 block, and they've gridded it out, and yeah, they sort of highlight how far that progression, and yeah, that's fantastic. The way you document your progress on your big chart, I think it's your Cinderella chart, was absolutely brilliant. I love that. So yeah, so working my way through Bobo Stitch and Quilt at the moment, and then I need to work out who commented after Jessie to see who's next. So yeah, that's the floss tubes that I've been watching. If you want to go check them out, I'll put links in the description of the video, and we'll have a look at whips next. Okay, so works in progress, whips. Right, I'm going to start from the least to the most, I think, which means I'm going to start with Adopt a Demo Dog. So this is what it looks like when it's finished. JC to pop an image up there. It's based on the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, and the pattern is from White Raven Patterns on Etsy. So this is where I got up to last time with it. Stitching it on 18 count Zweigart Ada, 2/1 with DMC floss, and technically I've gone backwards. I have less stitches in than what I did last time when you saw this. However, there is a story behind it. Now, in the last video I said I'm not one to stray from original designs. I'm a trust in the pattern person. Apologies, coughing episode. So yes, I am a trust in the pattern person. However, the more I looked at this, the more I was like, this is just too orange for me. Like, it just wasn't gelling for me with the colours. So, with no offence to White Raven designs whatsoever, the pattern is great. However, yeah, it was, for me, and for how I want to display it and the colours that I like, it was just, and I don't know whether it's my threads or what, but it was just coming out a bit too orange toned. So, the original colour that the pattern calls for, with fluff in it, is 606, which is coming up on black as quite orange. So that was the piece that was filled in there, and I frogged that bad boy. That all came out. The 606 that was there is gone. I dug around, and this isn't showing true to colour at all, but I had some 666, good old 666 in red, which is showing up orange because of the lights, and I put that in. The issue being I couldn't unsee the orange, so I came upstairs. Well, I didn't. I found some more red, which is also showing up a bit orange, but I found some 817, and I put a bit of 817 in down there. That showed up a bit better, to be fair. Just as a comparison, and I came upstairs to JC, who was racing rigs over there. That's why I'm pointing in that direction. I was like, does that look orange? And he's like, no, love, that's red. I'm like, but it's got some orange in it, hasn't it? It looks orangey red. He's like, no, love, that's red. I genuinely couldn't unsee the orange, and then ensued a debate about exactly how I see colours, possibly inaccurately. Now I've taken it out and looked at it, to be fair, I think the 666 might be alright. It might not be as orangey as what I thought last night when I was panic stitching, or panic unpicking and trying to stitch. So yeah, and my favourite quote from JC, good old Captain Colour Palette, was, oh yeah, well, when you were first putting it in, I thought it looked a bit orange, but I didn't want to say anything. Say something, please, in future. save the frog. Save the frog in. Please say something in future. So, right. This here. What we are going to do, what I have decided, is it's going into temporary timeout. I need to look at it again and make my eyes think that is not as orange as what I think it is. I know it's not orange. I know it's not 606 orange. I know it's red. I know it's 666 red. However, when I look at it, it looks orange. A bit orange, like orange tones and vibes. So I kind of like the 817, but I don't know if it's going to like pop or not en masse. Or it might look better when I get the white in. Now the other issue I've got is, now I've put those in, I don't know whether this border works here in that colour. So the border, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know it's 221. It's like sort of on the brown side of burgundy hues. But would it look better in a different colour if I'm putting a different colour in anyway? This is why I don't stray from patterns, because this happens. My brain overthinks things. So, yeah, 221 or not 221, that is the question. I've got 814 and 815, which are burgundy. I'm also doing an order next week, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow the M colours are released for the Gamer Stitch Along. So, yeah, I have the potential to order more colours, and I think it's just going to go in temporary timeout. I'm going to order all kinds of reds and burgundies. I'm going to throw them on the black and see what happens and what might complement it, or what my eyes are doing that day, because apparently that's not got orange in it. It has a bit. On the positive side though, Q-snaps. I mentioned in my first FlossTube that I stitch in hand, and I found fibromyalgia. I found holding hoops really hurt my hands. One of my main manifestations of my fibro is like sort of crampy T-Rex hands, and hoops were kicking that off. In the very, very limited use of this here Q-snap, that has not happened. So Q-snaps, I think, are a go. I don't think I will stop stitching in hand. I don't think that's going to happen. However, where I need a bit of tension, we're going to use a Q-snap, which is great. So yeah, so Demodog, I had 623 stitches in it, and I frogged myself down to 593. So we are minus 30 stitches, I think. And it's going in timeout until I get some more colours, but it's okay. And it's like I say, I love the pattern. I absolutely love it, but the thread I had was just too orange for my liking. So it's going to end up 4 by 7 inches when it's completed, which is 72 stitches wide by 120 stitches high. And fingers crossed, I'll be able to pull it out next time and have done a bit more on it. Maybe in a different colour or colours. We shall see. So, next. Right, yes, next. Next is Dog on Fire, which is This Is Fine Dog. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. Excuse me. It's based on a meme, and it was charted by Motoruxim, and you can get the pattern on their Patreon at the moment. The stitch count is 18,810 stitches, and this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. I'm stitching it on 18 count Ada, on in DMC 2/1, and the last time you saw it, it had 5,686 stitches in it according to Pattern Keeper, which was about 30%, and I've managed to get in about 700 more stitches. There we go. Okay, so I have been so grateful for this little thing. Filling out blocks of colour is basically all I've been able to do this last week. Like, anything that involved actual counting was just, it just didn't happen. But yeah, so it fell by the wayside because I really wanted to get the game of stitch along sorted. So it's got a bit of love in there and a bit more filled in over on this side. So I think I've gone there, and like sort of down here. I didn't touch the white on the white background. I couldn't cope with that. But yeah, I think the target for this, especially given the way I'm currently feeling, is that I will get the rest of this completed and filled in by the next time you see me. And then if I can actually, I've done this, how many times I've done this now? It's the third video, I should know how to do this by now. Yeah, I'll try and get some of the outline, the black outline in there as well, but we'll see how I get on. But yeah, I can do mindless colour filling of blocks. That will do me just fine. So that is about 34% complete. Mr. Dragon, who it's for, a gift for, has not yet moved into his house, so we are okay. Not that I'm wishing that his house moving is delayed in the slightest, because it has been persistently delayed, which isn't fair. However, if you could just move in really, really slowly, then you can totally have this as a housewarming gift ready for you. So yeah, not much more to say about This Is Fine. This is the second time I've stitched it. I could have lied to you. I could have pulled out the other one. It's on the other side of the office. That's why I'm pointing. Yeah, I could have pulled out the already done one and fibbed slightly. But yeah, it's going well, if not slowly. It's going slowly for a reason though. So the Pick Stitch gaming stitch along is next. It's actually called The Pixels That Made Us. So this is what it will look like when it's finished. Apart from the letters are going to be filled in with characters from different video games and consoles. So it's a charity stitch along. I think it's still open. If you want to join, I'll put the link in the description. Just make a donation to charity. It's, I should have written this down. It's a children's charity that supports children by gaming. So it's a fantastic cause. This is what it looked like the last time you saw it. I'll get JC to pop a little image in there. Surprise, surprise, it's on 18 count Ada. This one is white and silver flecked. And I said last week I wanted to catch up. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, I wanted to catch up. So at that point, I was 3 weeks behind on it. And I had 774 stitches actually in the Ada. I am caught up. We are on week 6 release, and I have totally, even though the back stitching, yeah, that's how caught up I am. I was like, shall I leave it? Shall I not? No, I was a big girl, and I actually backstitched it all as well. So the light does not do this any justice whatsoever. So I completed the G. Ooh, there we go. Hopefully you'll be able to see some characters that you recognise in there. And what I might do on the blog is I'll like pop a photo on there and sort of like line out to like which characters are which, just in case, because some of them, well, the G is NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. I wasn't a NES girl, I was a Mega Drive girl, or Genesis. A is Game Boy. and Game Boy Color on this side here. So I can recognise more on the A probably than I can on the G. I wasn't sure aesthetically how I felt about the mono of the Game Boy, because it was obviously, well, not mono, but the black and white, and just the sort of the grayscale. Sorry, not mono. However, when I saw it, I was like, and I was like, ooh, that's just a few colours. I can definitely catch up there. Someone in the Facebook group did mention maybe doing colour conversion on that. Would I frog it if I had a colour version of the pattern? I might. If someone does that, I might. I know it's not sort of true to form. Might look better in colour if there is one. Anyway, at the minute, it's as it is. Excuse me. What else did I do that I was impressed with myself with that wasn't backstitching? Right, so right here. Just above my finger there, or just on my finger there. So that is a Teenage Mutant Ninja or Hero Turtle, depending on where in the world you are from. So I had, my memory's pretty shot from when I was a kid. I can't remember much, but I had an aha moment and I made a pattern change. This is me who doesn't change change the colours in patterns, who changed the colour in 2 patterns this time. So yeah, when I was doing that, I'm like, is that a turtle? Like, I don't know why I was like in a weird accent, turtle. And it was, but it was supposed to be, I believe it was supposed to be Donatello. I think it was supposed to be purple or blue. It was either Donatello or Leonardo. And I sort of I had a little memory ping, like, I like the one with the red mask. I know this is Raphael. So yeah, I changed it to a red mask, which obviously is not the most epic and strenuous of colour conversions, but yeah, I was quite chuffed with that. I feel like, I know that's not, I feel like it's taken me an absolute age to stitch this, and I said at the beginning of this FlossTube, I felt like I was stitching slowly because I was smug stitching. I think it was just because of the confetti on this. I'm not a spectacularly fast stitcher, but there were so many breaks in the colour with this that it really did slow me down. I don't know how it's made me feel about stitch alongs as well. I probably would do another stitch along again. Would I do another weekly release one again? I don't know. I'm not sure. I would have to see. But I do absolutely love this, despite the colour changing every 2 minutes and the confetti, it's not confetti, but changing the strands of thread every 2 minutes, basically. I do absolutely love this design, and Pick Stitch has done an absolutely fantastic job on it. So yeah, last time you saw me, 3 weeks behind with 774 stitches on the Ada. I am now completely up to date. It's week 6, week 7 gets released tomorrow, and this has 5,375 stitches in it, which means I put 4,601 stitches into getting it up to date. So yeah, I am, in Barnsley terms, dead chuffed with that. And the cat's snoring again. 2 minutes. So in terms of whips and works in progress, that is all I have got to show you. I have empty hands in terms of any new starts and next projects, because literally all I did while I was able to, and I wasn't feeling particularly shoddy, was catch up with the Gamer stitch along, which, like I say, I'm delighted with how it looks. I'm so happy I did that. So my next projects, definitely, I promise, I am going to start Finding Fantasy, Start My Head. So we will get that started next week when I can start counting properly and I'm not feeling as foggy in the head. So yeah, Finding Fantasy, artwork by Rob Carlos, Heaven and Earth Designs. What stitch count are you? 525 stitches wide by 787 high. I literally have this kitted up and good to go. So next week I shall be starting that as soon as I can. The other thing that I am going to be starting is technically a new purchase, which is It's a Dog's Life, which is a Bothy Threads chart, and it's designed by Margaret Sherry. So this is going to be for another work colleague. So I work with a small team of people who all do the same job as I do, just in different regions. Mr. Dragon is one of them, so he gets the This Is Fine as a housewarming gift and also as something, but I sort of feeling if I turn up to the next team meeting and if I'm just giving something to one person, does that look a bit like favouritism? So I've got 2 of the team members who I work with. One of them is going to be getting this when we are actually allowed to meet in person. I will actually stitch it. I won't just give them a piece of paper that shows them what it could have looked like if I had done it. And the other person, I have already got a finish for, and I will show you that next week along with what I have started and stitched on It's a Dog's Life. So those are my 2 definite starts and next projects. So the one other thing I had thought about starting was a Witcher inspired design from Oh My Stitcher shop on Etsy, and I'll get JC to pop a picture in here. I absolutely love the colours on this, and I've played The Witcher. I love it as a game, really enjoyed the next Netflix series. So yeah, the pattern that I picked up here I do genuinely want to do. I'm not saying it's going to be a quick stitch. I don't know the measurements off the top of my head, but it's going to be an enjoyable one and a smallish one, so that'll be a nice sort of side project. I have got some of the threads for it, so I can make a start if I get a chance. So yeah, that's definitely going to be the next one in the lineup. Sorry, the dog's messing with the stitching bag. So purchases, I went into this thinking, I haven't bought that much, and then it just deteriorated quite rapidly, all in the space of 30 minutes, one day last week. So I purchased A Dog's Life kit, and that was from Lakeside Needlecraft, and it was on sale. I think it was about £23, which isn't bad for a full kit. So that contained the Ada, the threads, the pattern, and just like instructions and that kind of thing. The other things I purchased, I got the floss for A. I got that from for the game stitch along. I got that from eBay. I tend to use smaller sellers for floss, for threads, and I'm all about whoever's cheapest, but also, you know, good customer service and decent delivery time. So I sort of have a few different shops that I sort of look around and price up and see how much things are going to cost me, because I can't afford to just keep going back to the same place if it's going to be expensive all the time. So the floss for the Gamer Stitch Along for A I got from eBay from Alison957, and Alison957 does a pick your own amount of floss. So I got 34 skeins for £23.80, and if the number that you want isn't there, then what they'll do is, if you just shoot them a message, they'll put a listing up for that number of threads, and then you just message them and just tell them what colours you want. And I've used that seller a couple of times now, and they're really fast dispatch, and it's always been accurate. So that was another purchase. The other thing that I got, and I didn't bring it upstairs because I couldn't face it, and it's not heavy, but it was just like, I just can't do it, is I got a new box. So I don't think I've mentioned it on FlossTube, but if you follow me on Instagram, you might have heard me mention my box of doom, where all of my old non-started or half-finished and abandoned projects live. So I've had a bit of a rearrange of the living room, and where I put it, I worked out I could actually fit another box in there. So I bought from Parkham Retail for £12.50, and I'll put a picture up of it and a link in the descriptions, another storage box. And it's a Pierre Henry file box. That was my work laptop going over. Or, you know, the French accent shocked him. That's the dog. So a file box, and I opened it up, and it's great. It looks exactly like the box of doom, apart from this one is going to be a box of joy. This is going to be a happy box. Apart from it's exactly the same colour, and you can't tell the difference until you open them up. But I opened it up, and it's got like sort of the swinging file dividers in there. And I like ripped them all out, like, don't need those. And then I started actually putting stuff in there, and I retrieved the file dividers from the bin, and I've actually used them, and I've got it organised quite nicely. So I've managed to like divide up my fabric into different counts and things. So I'll do something with that. I'll put a photo on Instagram or something, or I'll drag it upstairs next time, so you can have a look at that once I've sorted it properly. But yeah, I threw all the file dividers away and then very hastily retrieved them, and actually I thought those will come in useful. So the big purchase, the big purchases have been the fault of Joe from Belushi Stitches. So we got chatting in the comments, I think, of one of my videos, and yeah, that led to buying patterns. I can't remember how it came up, and I ought to have just read the comments to refresh my memory. However, I realised I didn't have actual sort of, that was it, 'cause I said I was going to possibly do the Witcher design next, and then I realised I didn't actually have a finished sort of image of how it was going to look, which then led me to go on to Oh My Stitches shop on Etsy to try and retrieve said image. And then that led me to seeing they had a sale on, and if you bought 5 patterns you got 50% off. So I searched, genuinely I did search for gaming, and then I found the pattern first that I'm going to put in. So I thought, well, I'm going to put in, JC's going to put in, and like, I'll just add that to my basket. And then the Witcher inspired one didn't come up. So then I thought, right, okay, so not gaming, so maybe it's like TV film it's under. And then I found this next pattern. It wasn't under TV film. And so then I just got generally browsing to try and find it, and I ended up with these other 3 patterns in my basket, and I bought them all, which was fine, apart from I then started looking for all the other purchases from All My Stitches, so I could have like the finished, what it's going to look like shots, and then I might have ended up with 16 more patterns. However, the maths of pattern buying. So in total, those patterns cost me £33.40 for 21 patterns, which is an average cost of £1.59, which is about $2.18, I think. Obviously, that's a bargain. It's more of a bargain if you think that's 50% off. Excuse me, my voice is going now. So that would have been £66.79 in total if I'd have purchased them all at full price. But some were in bundles, so I'll get JC to add the other patterns while I'm talking. If you factor in the individual cost of those patterns and them not being in a bundle, then that would have brought the overall purchase price just of the second batch alone, the 16 extra I bought the second time round, to £63 on its own, and the total cost would have been about £84, so about $115 I think. So considering I got them all for $159 each, it's a bargain. So the maths of pattern buying is don't use the full price, well, even if it's a discounted price, use an average, and always say what the full proper original highball price was. And if they are in a, you know, in a 9-pack of patterns or in a 4-pack of dinosaur patterns, then yeah, just in your head split that out and factor that into the original cost, and that makes your head feel a lot better about pattern buying. And I could have totally explained that better if I wasn't feeling like I'm feeling and my voice is going and I feel shocking now. But what led me to getting the 16 other patterns was FOMO, fear of missing out. And because I had it in my head, well, I can't find the Witcher inspired pattern now, so is that gone? Is that gone forever? Or is it just like they put a certain amount on the store and it's not there because they've sold out and not like sort of replenished that amount of patterns? So yeah, I didn't want to lose any more of the pretty patterns that I saw, and yeah, FOMO. Another experience of FOMO that I had recently was the Great Anne Stokes incident of January 21, where the charts, we got a notification on the Haid Facebook group that the Anne Stokes, some of the old charts were being retired. Yeah, there wasn't a sale on, but a lot of those charts were in my wish list. So yeah, that was an incident of great financial proportions. And FOMO also leads to stuff like this. So this is, so Joe from Belusi Stitchers, my Stitchers shop purchases were totally your fault. I take responsibility for spending my own money, but you caused that to happen. So if that's Joe's fault, then this is Sam's fault. This is Sammy Liz's fault. So I saw this on the last FlossTube I think I saw a review. Okay. Do I like samplers? Do I like a good reference book? Yes, I do. And then I went on eBay to look at it, and I saw that there was 8 left remaining. And yeah, I'm an academic at heart. I love a good reference source. So yeah, FOMO. That's another one. But yeah, so I picked this up, and that's Sam's fault. Yeah, so those I think were all my stitching purchases for the last 2 weeks. I've obviously got a lot of smaller patterns to stitch up now from my Stitchers shop haul. So if there's any of those that you like and want to see me stitch up next, like when I finish something else, then just let me know in the comments and I'll get it kitted up, because I love all of them. I mean, if you're going to comment and say it's a dinosaur one, then I'm definitely going to listen to you and do it. I really do like the dinosaur 4-pack of patterns. But yeah, by all means, if there's anything you see that you like, want to see that, I'll get it kitted up and sorted. So that's everything I think I've got to talk about with in terms of stitching, and I'm going to start coughing in a minute now. So I'm going to pause this now, and then I'll just go on to random stuff in a second. And yeah, so if you were just here for the stitching and the whips and the purchases and that kind of thing, I'll see you hopefully next time. And just give me 2 seconds and I'll talk about random stuff. Right, so randomy, randomy life stuff. Like I said earlier on, you sort of got to tell my face what I'm thinking. and how excited I am. But non-essential retail in England opens next week, which is great. I'm not going to be queuing up at the shops anytime soon. However, hairdressers is back open. So hands, face, space, jog on. Not really, we're still going to have to do hands, face, space. However, next couple of weeks, nails, brows, hair, that is where it's at. I don't know, well, I do know, I've got a massive sort of COVID rootage going on here, and my brows need sorting out, and yeah, I'm not a girly girl, I'm not, but I like to look alright, and I know I'm not quite looking my best at the moment. So yeah, new hair colour, well, less faded hair colour, shall we say, is going to be happening, which I'm quite excited about. That's very cool. What else? Non-stitchy stuff. Oh, do grown up things. So, context, I've been doing all of my sort of switching for gas and electric and TV and Sky and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, don't pay more money for things than what you have to, because it means you can save your money and spend it all on lots of patterns. So that has really helped this last month. What else have I done? Oh, fishes. So we've got a massive fish tank downstairs. I love fish. I'm not like a sort of an aqua geek, but I love my fish tank so much. So we've got tropical fish in there, and it's sort of run down over lockdown. We've not replaced. Sorry, I'm going to have to scream my mum. We've not replaced any of the fish really, as they've passed on to their fishy, watery grave. So, sorry, that's the cat behind the camera. What are you doing? We got new fish. So the fish tank is alive and good, and we're having a nice little community tank going on. I used to have a fire eel. Poor Snuffy is no more, he passed away. So yeah, we've now got the chance to have a nice community tank without any predators in there. So that was very exciting. We got lots of new fish. I've had a few recommendations for like books and series to watch and things like that. Keep them coming. Thank you very much if you've recommended anything to me. It'll be added to the growing list, but I'm always up for new things to watch. Said it before, like spooky, horror-y, mystery, that kind of thing. I'm still watching Squatching, Finding Bigfoot, and we are up to date with the Curse of Oak Island, and you know, so anything sort of that kind of way I'm interested in. Speaking of crimes against TV and film, JC coughed the other day that he's never really been into X-Files, and by what he meant by that was he's actually never really watched it. So we're currently blasting our way through X-Files from season 1 on Prime Video. He also said he'd never watched the Blair Witch Project before. I'm not sure how I feel about all these things that are coming out of the woodwork now. We've got an issue in our household where he likes action kind of stuff, and I'm not really massively into that. I like horror and that kind of stuff, and our crossover genre is sort of sci-fi. We can sort of agree to sci-fi, but yeah, he won't watch anything scary, and if I like make him watch anything scary, I'm gonna have a trade-off and watch something that he likes. And yeah, we'll see how that goes, because not really into that. Another crime against TV and film. So JC's daughter, my stepdaughter, I haven't found a nice way to say that. It still feels weird. Like, I feel like I'm saying stepdaughter and it feels like it's a bad thing. It's not. She's just not my daughter, and she's fantastic. But yeah, it just sort of like stepdaughter or stepmom sounds like quite negative, and I haven't found a good way to say it. I'm George to her, you know, that's all I am. But anyway, she is 8 years old and has never seen the Muppets. Like, legit does not know who Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy are. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel that needs to be corrected. Although I'm not sure how the Muppet Show has aged in terms of effects and, I won't say political correctness, but has it aged well for the times that we currently live in? I'm not too sure. But yeah, how do you not know who Kermit and Miss Piggy are? Let's just say I still get surprises about the family that I married into. And speaking of which, this last week, we've been married for 3 years now. So allegedly 3 years. They've got there's a gift type like thing that it's supposed to be made of each year, and the 3-year gift is supposed to be made of leather. We're just gonna leave it at that. I got flowers. It's fine. But yeah, so yeah, it's just been a week. This last week has been a week of feeling shoddy. The week prior to that was a week of nailing the game a stitch along, doing grown-up things, saving money, buying new fish for the tank, and I watched Starship Troopers as well, which was very exciting after I mentioned it on the last video and got my little pop vinyls. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there because, yeah, my voice is going and I'm going to cough again. And thank you if you've stayed with me for this long throughout the whole video. Anything I have talked about, anyone who I have talked about, I'll mention it in the description. I'll put everything in there. Instagram, I normally sort of keep up to date on there. I'm Crafty Road Gamer on Instagram. I've mentioned the blog a couple of times. The blog's definitely going to get some love. The intention was it was going to get some love this week, and then yeah, I couldn't get off the sofa. So yeah, blog defo update. And I think the only thing left is the bit of Yorkshire to annoy JC at the end, which I may or may not keep on doing, but I don't know. So last week was put wood in oil, which meant put the wood in the hole, which is shut the door. So this week, which is quite weather appropriate this week, I keep saying like I'm doing weekly, this time we're going to do take the kite with it. Take the kite with it. That is the Yorkshire to annoy JC at the end of this video. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Like I say, I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for staying. And yeah, feel free to say hi, leave a comment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So take care and see you in a couple of weeks.